Long before anyone in Korea thought of using silver to buy rice or pay for a new hat, the shiny metal was already incredibly important. In ancient Korea, during the time of the Three Kingdoms, Goguryeo, Baekje, and Silla, silver was seen not as money but as a symbol of power, wealth, and status. Kings and queens would wear beautiful silver crowns and intricate silver jewelry. These items were not just for decoration, they told everyone who was in charge. Silver was painstakingly crafted into belts, earrings and ornaments that were buried in the tombs of royalty, meant to accompany them into the afterlife. This showed just how much value was placed on this beautiful glistening metal. The use of silver was also central to diplomacy and trade with neighboring lands, especially China. When Korean envoys traveled to the powerful Chinese courts, they did not bring bags of coins. Instead, they brought carefully selected gifts, and silver was often the star of the show. Giving gifts of raw silver or beautifully made silver objects was a sign of respect and a way to build strong relationships between kingdoms. It was a language of power that everyone understood. China, in turn, would send back silk, books, and other cultural treasures. This exchange was less about buying and selling and more about maintaining peace and showing mutual respect between great nations. Inside Korea, silver played a similar role among the elite. A powerful noble might give a gift of silver to the king to show his loyalty. A wealthy family might include silver items in a daughter's dowry when she married into another powerful family, cementing alliances and displaying their prosperity. Silver was used in important religious rituals and ceremonies, offered to the heavens or to ancestors to ask for blessings and good fortune. It was far too precious and symbolic to be used for everyday transactions. Common people would have rarely, if ever, seen or touched it. Their world was one of barter, trading rice for cloth or fish for tools, a system that worked for centuries. So, while silver flowed through the veins of ancient Korean society, it was the lifeblood of the powerful, not the currency of the common person. It was a treasure, a diplomatic tool, and a sacred offering. The idea of cutting it up into small, round pieces with a standard value was still far in the future. The journey from silver as a revered treasure to silver as a functional coin was a long one, and it would take many centuries and massive changes in society for that transformation to begin. For the people of ancient Korea, silver was something to be admired from a distance, a shining symbol of a world far removed from their daily lives. As Korea entered the Goryeo dynasty, which began in the year 918, the role of silver started to change in a very interesting way. Trade with China and other parts of Asia grew much more extensive, and the old system of just giving gifts was no longer enough. Merchants and the government needed something more practical to handle these large transactions. This need gave rise to a unique form of early Korean currency called the unbayong. These were not coins in the way we think of them today. Instead, they were bottle-shaped ingots made of pure silver, each one stamped with an official seal to prove its authenticity and value. The unbayong, also charmingly known as hwalgu, looked like a small vase or gourd. This distinctive shape was actually very clever. It was meant to resemble the shape of the Korean peninsula itself, a patriotic symbol that made it uniquely Korean. These silver bottles were used primarily by the government and the wealthiest merchants for very large payments. For example, the government might use unbayong to pay for major construction projects or to purchase expensive goods from Chinese traders. They were not something you would use to buy a meal at the market. They were heavy, valuable, and designed for the world of high finance, not the everyday economy of the common people. So, if Goryeo had these silver unbyong, why did they not take the next logical step and make smaller round silver coins for everyone to use? The answer lies in the deeply rooted traditions of the time. The Goryeo government was cautious and preferred to control the economy through land ownership and taxes paid in grain and cloth. They feared that introducing a widespread coin-based economy could disrupt this stable system. Furthermore, the supply of silver was not always consistent. It depended heavily on mining output and, more importantly, on trade with China and Japan, making it difficult to guarantee a steady supply for minting millions of coins. As a result, the Goryeo dynasty had a dual economy. At the very top, the elite in the state used these large silver ingots for major deals. Down below, the vast majority of the population continued to live in a world of barter. They traded goods and services directly, and for smaller transactions, they used grain and bolts of hemp cloth as a kind of commodity money. This system, while it seems complicated to us today, was familiar and functional for the people of Goryeo. The Unbayong was a brilliant innovation, a bridge between treasure and currency. But the age of the true silver coin had not yet dawned on the peninsula. When the Joseon dynasty replaced Goryeo in 1392, the importance of silver in Korea grew even more. This was largely thanks to a global silver boom. Huge amounts of silver were being mined in the Americas and brought to Asia by Spanish and Portuguese traders. At the same time, Japan was discovering new, highly productive silver mines. Korea found itself geographically in the middle of this massive flow of silver. Japanese silver often passed through Korea on its way to China, where it was in high demand to be traded for silk, tea, and porcelain. This turned Joseon Korea into a key player in the regional silver trade, even without having major silver mines of its own at first. This influx of silver made the Joseon government and its merchant class very wealthy. Silver became the preferred medium for international trade and for paying taxes on high-value goods. The government warehouses were filled with silver ingots, much like the Unbayong of the Goryeo era, though often in simpler, less ornate shapes. This silver was used to fund the military, pay the salaries of high-ranking officials, and purchase luxury goods from abroad. The metal was a cornerstone of the national economy, a symbol of Joseon's connection to the wider world and its growing commercial power. It was, in every sense, a silver age for the kingdom's elite. Despite having so much silver, the Joseon rulers were very hesitant to mint it into coins for daily use. They held the same fears as their Goryeo predecessors. The Joseon government was built on a strict Confucian social order, and they believed that commerce and the pursuit of profit could corrupt society. They preferred an economy based on agriculture, with taxes paid in rice and cloth. They worried that introducing silver coins would encourage people to abandon farming in favor of trade, which they saw as a less noble profession. This deeply ingrained cultural bias against commercialism was a powerful barrier to monetary innovation. Therefore, for most of the Joseon dynasty's long history, the common people's lives remained untouched by the silver flowing through the kingdom's upper echelons. The market stalls in Hanyang, which is modern-day Seoul, and other cities continued to buzz with the sounds of barter. People paid for goods with rice, beans, or cotton cloth. The government did experiment with making bronze or copper coins, called Sangpyeong Tongbo, but even these struggled to gain widespread acceptance for centuries. Silver remained a treasure, a tax commodity, and a trade metal for the powerful, but the idea of a small silver coin you could hold in your palm was still a radical concept. One of the great questions of Korean economic history is why the nation waited so long to create its own silver coins. While neighboring China and Japan had been using silver coinage for centuries, Korea held back. A primary reason was a deep-seated philosophical and cultural resistance. Joseon society was founded on Neo-Confucian ideals that placed agriculture at the heart of a healthy state. The ruling class, or Yangban, believed that farming was the most virtuous occupation, while being a merchant was seen as a lower-class pursuit. They feared that a monetary economy, especially one based on precious silver, would encourage greed and speculation, tempting people away from the farms and disrupting the social order. Another major factor was the practical challenge of supply. Korea itself did not have massive silver mines like those in Japan or the Americas. The kingdom's silver supply was heavily dependent on international trade. It came from Japan in exchange for Korean ginseng and Chinese silk, or from China as payment for other goods. This made the amount of silver in the country fluctuate wildly based on foreign relations and trade policies. A king could not order the minting of millions of silver coins if he could not guarantee a stable and long-term supply of the metal. A currency that could disappear overnight was no currency at all. The international role of silver also played a part. In East Asia, silver was more than just money, it was a universal commodity. Chinese merchants, who were the dominant economic force in the region, preferred to trade in raw silver, valued by its weight and purity. They would have been less interested in accepting specifically Korean coins, which they would have had to melt down anyway. For Korean traders, it was simpler and more efficient to use silver ingots that were accepted everywhere. There was no pressing commercial demand from their biggest trading partners to create a unique national silver currency for international trade. Finally, there was the fear of counterfeiting and economic disruption. The government worried that if they issued silver coins, illegal private mints would pop up, creating fake coins and devaluing the currency. This could lead to economic chaos, inflation, and social unrest. Controlling the quality and quantity of a precious metal currency was a monumental task, and the Joseon government, preferring stability above all else, chose the safer path. They stuck with what they knew, a system of barter, commodity money like rice and cloth, and bronze coins for small transactions, while keeping precious silver in large, easily controllable ingots. By the late 19th century, the world was knocking on Korea's door, and the old ways were, well, no longer sustainable. The Hermit Kingdom, as Korea was known, could not remain isolated forever. Ships from Western powers, America, France, and Germany, began appearing in Korean waters, demanding that the country open its ports to trade. At the same time, a rapidly modernizing Japan, which had embraced Western technology and economic systems, was exerting immense pressure on its neighbor. These foreign powers brought with them their own silver coins, like the Mexican silver dollar, which were becoming a standard for trade across Asia. Joseon's old system of barter and ingots looked outdated and inefficient in this new global context. This period of immense pressure and change was overseen by King Gojong, a ruler who understood that Korea had to modernize or risk being colonized. He initiated a series of sweeping reforms, known as the Gabo Reforms, aimed at transforming every aspect of Korean society, from the government and military to education and the economy. A key part of this modernization effort was creating a modern monetary system. King Gojong and his advisors realized that to trade on equal terms with the West and Japan, Korea needed its own standardized, reliable currency. Relying on foreign coins or cumbersome silver ingots was a sign of weakness. The decision to finally mint Korea's own silver coins was therefore not just an economic one, it was a powerful political statement. It was an assertion of Korea's sovereignty and its ambition to become a modern, independent nation. In 1883, King Gojong established the Bureau of Coinage, or Jeonwanguk, equipped with modern, steam-powered minting machinery imported from Germany. This was a monumental step. For the first time in its history, Korea had the industrial technology to produce uniform, high-quality coins that could compete with any in the world. The stage was finally set for the birth of Korea's first true silver coin. The push for modernization was not without its challenges. There was still resistance from conservative officials who feared these radical changes. Furthermore, the growing influence of Japan was a constant threat, as the Japanese sought to control Korea's economy for their own benefit. Despite these obstacles, King Gojong pushed forward with his vision. He knew that a national currency was more than just money, it was a symbol of national identity and a crucial tool for building a strong, centralized state capable of defending its independence. The minting of the first silver coin was to be a shining symbol of this new, modern Korea he hoped to build. After years of preparation and, honestly, a fair bit of political maneuvering, the moment finally arrived. In the year 1892, the newly established Korean mint struck the nation's very first modern, machine-made silver coin. This new currency system was based on the yang, with the premier silver coin being the magnificent 5-yang piece. It was a historic event, really marking the end of a 1,000-year-old tradition of using silver as a treasure or in ingot form. This coin represented Korea's bold leap into the modern world. The creation of this coin was a declaration that Korea was ready to manage its own economy with its own modern currency, standing shoulder to shoulder with other nations. The introduction of the Yang currency system was a complete overhaul of Korea's monetary landscape. The old confusing system of Emun and bronze Sangpyeong Tongbo coins was to be replaced by a decimal-based system that was much easier to use. The system included smaller denomination coins made of copper and nickel, but the silver coins were the foundation of its value. There were 3 silver denominations, the 1 yang, the 1/4 yang, also known as 2 Jeon 5 Pun, and of course, the magnificent 5-yang coin. This structured, logical system was designed to facilitate commerce of all sizes, from buying a small snack to conducting large business transactions. The 5 Yang coin was really the flagship of this new currency. It was a substantial piece of money, containing a significant amount of pure silver, which gave it real intrinsic value. Its creation was supervised by foreign experts, and it was minted using the latest technology to ensure consistency in weight and purity. This was crucial for building public trust. People had to believe that each 5 Yang coin was just as valuable as the next. The government hoped that this new, reliable silver currency would finally replace the complex barter system and the circulation of foreign silver dollars, unifying the national economy under a single, Korean standard. The importance of this moment really cannot be overstated. For the first time, a common merchant in a Korean market could hold a piece of silver that was not a foreign dollar or a chunk of raw metal, but a distinctly Korean coin, bearing the symbols of his nation. It was a tangible piece of King Gojong's modernization reforms, an object that connected the grand ambitions of the royal court with the daily lives of the people. The 5 Yang coin was more than just 90% silver and 10% copper. It was 100% a symbol of a new era, a testament to a nation striving for its place in the modern world. The 1892 5 Yang coin was not just historically significant, it was also a work of art, designed to project an image of a proud and independent Korea. The front, or obverse of the coin, was dominated by a powerful and beautifully detailed dragon, its coiled body surrounded by stylized clouds and flames. In East Asia, the dragon is not a monster to be feared, but a benevolent and auspicious symbol of royal authority, power, and good fortune. By placing this majestic dragon on its premier silver coin, the Korean government was making a clear statement about the strength and legitimacy of its ruling dynasty. It was a symbol everyone in the region would understand. Around the dragon, the coin featured inscriptions that identified it. At the top, written in traditional Hanja, were the characters for Great Joseon, or Daeoseon, proudly declaring the coin's origin. At the bottom, the denomination was written as O Yang, meaning 5 Yang. This combination of a powerful image and clear lettering made the coin both beautiful and functional. The design was carefully crafted to inspire confidence and national pride. It was a piece of metal that carried the full weight of the kingdom's identity, a miniature proclamation of sovereignty that could fit in the palm of your hand. The reverse side of the coin was just as thoughtfully designed. In the center was the royal seal of the Joseon dynasty, a plum blossom crest surrounded by a wreath of Rose of Sharon and plum branches, the national flowers of Korea. This emblem, known as the Oyat Kot, or plum flower crest, was a direct symbol of the royal family. Above the crest, the founding year of the dynasty, 497, was inscribed, counting from the year the Joseon dynasty began. Below it, the denomination was written in modern Korean Hangul script as Daseot Yang, and the English words 5 Yang were also included, signaling the coin's intended use in international trade. This blend of traditional symbols and modern elements was intentional. The dragon and the royal crest connected the coin to Korea's long and proud history, while the inclusion of Hangul and English pointed toward a future of modernization and global engagement. The coin's large size and substantial silver content also gave it a satisfying weight and feel, reinforcing its value. The 5 Yang coin was meticulously designed to be more than just money. It was a cultural ambassador, a piece of propaganda, and a statement of national identity, all rolled into one shiny silver disc. Despite the great hopes placed upon it, the beautiful silver Yang currency had a very short and troubled life. The political situation in Korea at the end of the 19th century was incredibly unstable. The country was caught in a power struggle between China, Russia, and a newly assertive Japan, all vying for control over the Korean peninsula. This external pressure created internal conflict and economic turmoil, making it difficult for the new currency to take root. The government struggled to mint enough coins to meet the country's needs, and the old habits of barter and using foreign currency were hard to break. The final blow to the Yang currency came from Japan. As Japanese influence over Korea grew, they sought to integrate the Korean economy with their own. In 1902, Japan pressured the Korean government to abandon the Yang system and adopt a new currency called the won, which was conveniently set at a value equal to the Japanese yen. This move effectively ended the independent monetary policy that King Gojong had fought so hard to establish. The beautiful silver 5 yang coins, along with the other yang denominations, were recalled from circulation and melted down. The new currency system introduced under Japanese guidance still included silver coins for a brief period. However, as Japan solidified its control, culminating in the formal annexation of Korea in 1910, the Korean currency was completely replaced by the Japanese colonial currency, the Korean yen. The era of Korean minted silver coins for general circulation came to an abrupt end. The dream of a sovereign Korean currency, symbolized by the magnificent 5 yang dragon coin, lasted for only about a decade before it was extinguished by the realities of imperialism and foreign domination. The story of the 5 yang coin is therefore a tragic one. It was born out of a noble vision of a modern independent Korea, but it was quickly consumed by the turbulent politics of the era. It represents a brief moment of hope and national pride that was ultimately crushed. The few surviving examples of the 1892 5 yang coin are now extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. They are not just old coins, they are precious artifacts that tell the story of a kingdom's struggle for its future, a beautiful but fleeting symbol of what might have been. After the end of Japanese colonial rule in 1945 and the turmoil of the Korean War, the newly formed Republic of Korea, or South Korea, had to rebuild its economy from scratch. The immediate priorities were feeding the people, reconstructing cities, and building industries. In this post-war environment, issuing currency made from precious metals like silver was an impossible luxury. The new South Korean currency, the won, and later the modern won, was made from inexpensive base metals like copper, nickel, and aluminum. The age of silver as a circulating currency in Korea was definitively over, a relic of a bygone era. Today, the Bank of Korea, the central bank of South Korea, does produce silver coins, but their purpose is entirely different. They are not meant to be spent at the grocery store or used in vending machines. Instead, they are created as commemorative coins or bullion for collectors and investors. These modern silver coins celebrate important national events, such as the Olympic Games held in Seoul in 1988, the FIFA World Cup in 2002, or anniversaries of key moments in Korean history. They are minted in limited quantities and are sold for a price much higher than their face value, reflecting the value of their silver content and their rarity. These commemorative coins are often masterpieces of modern minting technology, featuring intricate and beautiful designs that showcase Korean culture, history, and nature. They might depict famous historical figures, endangered animals like the Korean tiger, or traditional Korean art forms. For collectors around the world, these coins are a way to own a small piece of Korean heritage. They serve a similar symbolic purpose to the ancient silver gifts of the Silla period, representing the nation's culture and pride, but in a modern, standardized form that can be appreciated by a global audience. In a way, the story of Korean silver has come full circle. It began as a precious material for royalty and ceremony, too special for everyday use. After a brief and dramatic appearance as a circulating coin in the form of the 5 yang, it has returned to its status as a special object. Today's Korean silver coins are keepsakes and investments, not money for the market. The journey from ingot to the 5 yang coin, and finally, to the modern commemorative piece, tells a fascinating story of Korea's economic, political, and cultural evolution over more than 1,000 years, closing a long chapter on silver as a tool of daily commerce.